game off of your library the other day. Eventually, I'm going to go through Dark Souls Remastered.
I'll enjoy.
I've never like sat down to try and play a Souls game. I played a little bit of Bloodborne, but like I didn't get past the first area and I hated it. But I also didn't try, really.
Yeah, well, okay, there's your first issue.
I did almost beat the werewolf that you're supposed to die to, though, on my second time.
Nice. There's a huge difference between Dark Souls and Bloodborne, though.
Isn't Bloodborne harder?
Some would say they're just different styles of game. Like, it's still like the Souls thing. Basically, between the Dark Souls / Demon Souls series, Bloodborne, and Sekiro, they all have different approaches on how you play. So
Sekiro was the other one I was thinking about trying.
Oh, it's so good.
Do you have it?
So good. Not on PC. I played it on PS4. My roommate bought it.
Jake, my old roommate, was like, "Oh, hey, I bought Cyberpunk, or I pre-ordered Cyberpunk, so you can play it if you want to." And then he was like, "Oh, bought it on my wrong account. I bought it on the wrong account." I'm like,
Raw. Anyways, we should probably get in this because we can have this discussion in there.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Distorted Entertainment Podcast. I believe this is episode 8 now. Yeah, we did 7.5 as 8. It's 8. It's also a little bit after 8 that we were recording this right now. Hello, everybody. My name is Ethan Carpenter, host here at Distorted Entertainment. I'm also joined by Mitchell Wade. Mitchell, how goes?
It goes pretty well.
It goes very well.
No, fun thing. I somehow have found motivation in life. And,
I wish I could.
And move up. Shit, man. Come back to FedEx. I'll explain.
Okay.
I've gotten what I call Dark Souls motivation.
Yes, you brought this up briefly on the last episode.
Yes. Well, it's gotten heavy.
All right.
Basically, for just to redefine Dark Souls motivation, it is what basically when you go, man, fuck this game, and then you like turn it off and walk away for a bit, and then it just kind of sits in the back of your mind until you get really pissed off, and then you're like, no, you know what? Fuck this game, and then you play for like 60 hours and beat it. Which, maybe not healthy, but at the same time, that's what I did with Dark Souls and Sekiro. And Dark Souls 2, if I ever actually beat it. I am at the end game, but DLC and all that. Basically, I have the easiest job possibly at FedEx Express. I don't know if you know what I do now.
I mean, you check truck numbers, don't you?
Yeah. So I basically sit in a trailer or outside because everyone has COVID, so why would I be inside with them? Wait for a trailer to show up or get ready to leave, one of the two. I go up, write down the route number, tractor number, write down a time. Oh, and the seal number. And, say that stuff over the radio so the person inside on the computer can confirm. That is my job. There's other things I have to do. Like I have to walk pretty much the entire facility writing down every trailer number in the lot. That's a lot of walking, as Ethan can contest, because I work at the second largest hub in the United States, if not the world. My coworkers just bitch and complain, even though we have the easiest job. Just constantly there. I want to go home. I don't like this person. This is pissing me off. Oh, they're talking too. So I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Well, if they quit, you can always get me back in there, maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just I can't stand these people anymore. It has gotten to the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm better than everyone here right now. I need to get out. Oh, yeah, there was probably more to this than Yeah,
I've been waiting for you to get to the motivation part. So basically I have this large letter that I'm sending to my professors or former professors to try and get in contact with them and just kind of reform the relationship, because Sad Mitch was dumb and didn't maintain that relationship over a 3-year period, even though they were really cool. And I am
definitely signing up and taking that GRE and going back to grad school and like trying to truck it through that so I can get the hell out. Because I don't think I can do this for like the rest of my life.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Other than that, Black Friday happened. I spent a lot of money that I don't want to admit to, but got a 12-core Ryzen 9 processor, new motherboard, 32 gigs of DDR4 RAM at 3200 megahertz. They also light up, which is important, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And a new AIO. And so I need to install those in my gaming computer.
Nice.
Yeah.
I got nothing on Black. Well, that's not true. I purchased a couple of plugins for audio work, and then that's about it.
I mean, sounds like you got stuff on Black Friday.
Yeah, very, very roughly. Oh, hey, breaking news. There's a KFC Lifetime movie coming out. A Lifetime movie that is partnered with the restaurant known as Kentucky Fried Chicken, where it looks very similar to that actual real game, the real thing that is a KFC dating simulator on Steam. It's real, and now there's a movie. I don't want to live on this planet anymore. It looks like, it kind of looks like the dude. I assume it's Colonel Sanders. Kind of like, I see a little bit of Markiplier, but I know I'm like, this can't actually be Markiplier. But I kind of want it to be. But I kind of wish it was Markiplier. Yeah. So that exists.
Oh boy.
I don't like living.
I gotta look this up for a second.
I mean, did you know that the dating simulator existed?
Yes, I actually watched the Game Grumps play. Oh yeah, it kind of does look like Markiplier, but does it?
Yeah, it's like
it's Mario
half of a Markiplier.
Lopez.
It is Mario Lopez, ain't it? I just was looking at the picture. I think it's just like I associate all weird memes like this with Markiplier now for some reason.
Lord Farquaad.
Actually, it's Lord Marquand. Thank you very much.
Well, yeah, whatever.
Anyway, I have like 10 different news articles to go through. But most of them are really, really short.
Would you like me to go? Yeah, would you like me to go first? Because I only got like a few.
Yeah, go ahead.
And like, I guess it's kind of like a discussion piece, but it's definitely newsworthy. I don't know if you have heard of this game that's coming out in 2021.
I thought you were about to like say Cyberpunk. I'm like, no, I've never heard of it.
So there's a game coming out called Metal Hellsinger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I've seen an ad for that.
Yeah, well, so it's a rhythm FPS game, which there's a couple of those out. I think
the biggest one is like Crypt of the Necrodancer.
Except that's not an FPS, but yes.
Oh, I was just thinking rhythm game. My bad. Yeah, no, there was one. Was it Gunfire Reborn? Something like that?
Something like that, but it was more of an electronic dubstep.
It's called BPM. It was called BPM, bullets per minute.
Yeah. This one is, well, as the title suggests, metal. And it definitely kind of looks like a Doomish clone, but they all kind of do. But, I mean, this one also takes place in hell, so, yeah. Anyways.
It could also just be a Painkiller ripoff.
Yeah, except you play as a half demon, half human. So.
Yeah.
Plus, excuse me, Painkiller takes place in Purgatory.
Oh, right. I forgot about my Painkiller lore.
Yeah, like, come on now. The reason that I am interested in this game is they got metal singers and like well-known ones, and holy crap, that lineup. Here it is.
Mm-hmm.
So far, you got Matt Heafy of Trivium,
of course,
Michael Stane from Dark Tranquillity,
interesting,
Bjorn Strid from Soilwork.
Bjorn. That's all I have to say about Bjorn.
Yeah. Alyssa White Gloves from Arch Enemy. And I like her as a vocalist somewhat.
She's a decent vocalist, but apparently she's a horrid person.
Well, yeah, well, it's whatever. And James Dorton, a Black Crown Initiate.
Okay. For some reason, I thought you were about to say James Hetfield. I'm like, that's an odd one out.
Yeah. No, it's definitely all death metal vocalists. I guess Matt Heafy's not technically death metal, but he does the growls. He's the
harsh
growls.
Vocalist.
But for those who also didn't know, James Dorton was also on Doom Eternal.
I did not know that. I know that there was there was a ton of people that worked with Mick Gordon.
So I watched like a little documentary on that. It was not a huge choir. It was actually a relatively small one. And a lot of them were really not well-known metal singers, but there was a good, again, James was on there. The lead singer of Tingar Cavalry was on there as well.
Don't know who that is.
Mongolian death metal, folk metal band. They're also the only metal band that's ever played at Carnegie Hall.
Interesting.
I mean, I assume you know what Carnegie Hall is,
yes,
right?
I know what Carnegie Hall is.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. It's a prestigious place. So,
Yeah, it's okay. It's like
cool.
A 3 out of 5.
Fuck off. I played there. Go to hell.
But so did Lewis Black. So, I'm just messing with you. Keep going.
No, it's fine. No. So, I'm interested in it, if for nothing more than just the soundtrack. From what I've heard, the songs that Michael Stanley and James have done sound pretty good, because you can hear both of them in trailers. Other than that, hey folks, Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah. Yep. It's a game.
It's a game, and it is coming out.
It will be out by the time this is.
Yeah.
Unless if it somehow gets delayed again, which
don't encourage them.
Well, it's coming out in 3 days. I hope it doesn't. That being said, what did you have? Were you just name dropping it, or did you have something specific about it? Because I have a couple things I could bring up.
Just name dropping.
Okay. Yeah. So today it's the 7th at the moment. In case you couldn't figure out what 10 minus 3 is. IGN just dropped their review, and I know IGN is a meme, but I sort of trust them when it comes to at least a brief overview of games. They scored it really well. They gave it a 9, but here's the main issue I have with their review. CD Projekt Red didn't allow them to use, or didn't allow IGN to use their own footage. They supplied the footage for the review. And that's just until the game actually drops. But that's... Is it just me that I feel like that's a weird caveat in order that? I don't think I've ever heard of another company being like, no, you have to use our footage until the game actually drops in order for your review.
I'm sure there have been other places just to avoid spoilers.
Yeah, but it's
as
IGN.
Long as they, but as long as they actually got to experience the game,
And they said the reviewer in the video specifically said he does have his own footage. He just said the footage you are seeing on this particular video may not match up what is being said, because he was talking about the game had a lot of bugs and things like that, which is to be expected at this point. The game is getting a 50 to 60 gigabyte pre-release patch, I believe.
Yeah.
But that's also kind of common for most games nowadays. It was just kind of weird, because typically most of the time, if you see a review embargo, it's usually kind of all or nothing. It's not like you can review it and talk about it, but you can't. You have to use the footage we gave you. To be fair, I did not watch What Culture Gaming's review of it. I don't know. I felt it was kind of weird. Otherwise, early reviews look fairly promising. I'm not going to pre-order it because A, I don't have any money, and B, I would rather. I feel like if I'm going to play it, I'm probably going to wait for like 6 months or so to see if like the game gets ironed out completely. Which is my same opinion when it comes to game consoles. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. But from what they were talking about and the footage that CD Projekt Red gave them to use, the game looks and sounds really cool. It's like I understand why it's so hyped. I think one of the biggest things that like I found interesting was the reviewer said he and one of his friends like had a very similar run up until a certain point. There was only like one thing that they did differently from each other, and the IGN guy got a whole brand new mission that the other guy didn't get because of that one difference they made, which is, it just sounds like the game is going to be kind of huge. Apparently the main game is only going to be about, like, the main story, if you mainline it, is only about 20 hours, but like you're really supposed to play a lot of the side content. And apparently you can actually complete the game without even finishing the main storyline in your average, in your normal sense of doing so. That's one of the headlines I've heard from it. Also, it's kind of cool they're implementing a streamer mode, so it turns off all copyrighted music and nudity. So I'm like, that's kind of cool. Good on CD Projekt Red. Yeah, you know, I think game companies are starting to realize that streaming can really help them out. So maybe start implementing things to make that easier on people.
Well, and also stuff like that just helps people, not even just streamers, but just people that do, you know, recording, because it saves them editing time and allows them to still use in-game audio without having to like mess with the music and everything.
Yeah, turning the music completely off.
Yeah, so, you know, that's cool. I just have full faith in CD Projekt Red. There's like 2 non-indie studios. No, 3. That I just like wholeheartedly trust. CD Projekt Red, From Software, there we go, and Respawn. They're all AAA, but they've all just, I can't say From Software's made nothing but quality games, but
they've been making games since the NES days. So
yeah, it's that one's a little bit harder, but the other 2 quality games.
They've definitely made quality games since like Demon's Souls.
Yeah, and yeah, pretty much. I have no worries about, you know, one, Cyberpunk just being good in general, but it treating well by the company. Mm-hmm. Do I think it's probably still a little bit overhyped? Probably, but we'll see when I actually play it.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Also, there's a little bit of an Easter egg if you try to play the game if you have it pre-installed.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Yeah, if you try to play the game that you have pre-installed on a GOG, it has what's his name? It's Keanu Reeves' character pops up and it's like, hey, go away. It's not the 10th yet. He says, go back to sleep, samurai. It's not December 10th yet. Johnny Silverhand is his name. And apparently Keanu Reeves, the actual actor, exists in the cyberpunk world, like in canon. But that's Johnny amazing. Silverhand just looks like Keanu Reeves.
And sounds like Keanu Reeves.
Sounds like
and acts like Keanu Reeves.
Whoa. But I am interested in Cyberpunk. I don't think I'm going to be playing it at least for the first month or so since when it comes out. And even if I did, I don't think I would get anywhere. Whenever I play video games, it's basically just a stream now, and I don't think I would get very many viewers for playing Cyberpunk because all the big guys will be playing it. So I'm probably going to hold off for a little while on that anyway.
Yeah, I'm going to hold off. It might be like a year or 2 before I even play it. Not because I'm just like, you know, I don't want to play it or anything. I just have so many. I'm a computer gamer. I have so many games that I need to play. And unless there's a Steam sale, which there always is, I don't buy games. But you know, I still need to play Jedi Fallen Order. I haven't even played it since the last time we talked about it and me playing it. I got Dark Souls 2 and 3 and Bloodborne. I got Metro Exodus to play through. and they're like lesser games, not lesser in quality, just lesser known or smaller studios that I need to play that I own.
Yeah, I feel that. I've beat Coder since the last time we were recording, and I've moved on to Red Dead 1. I streamed that a little bit today, and it's a bit clunky.
I thought you were going to wait until
apparently that was I did an update recording when I edited the last episode. Apparently that was a false leak.
Sad days.
Apparently the remaster was fake news, but I mean that could have just been Rockstar trying to cover themselves. Who knows? Man, I mean, if they drop a remaster, I'll play through what I played through already. Like, I've only played 2.5 hours, but it is clunky going back to that game 10 years later.
Yeah.
Then again, I am playing on PlayStation Now, which you're streaming the game, so it has a little bit of a input delay anyway. So like, it's a little weird to try and control, but that's what I'm doing now. And then when it comes to like indie games, still, I just kind of stream them. I don't really game that much if I'm not recording or streaming it. What are you oohing about?
Because we were talking about like releases and all that, I decided, as the Metroid fanboy that I am, to see how Metroid Prime 4 is going.
Isn't being made. Canceled.
A Nintendo job listing asked for product testers to work with Retro Studios.
Interesting.
So that's good. That's a real good news. It's real good, and it's only been 3 years in development. Well, 3 years since the announcement at E3 in 2017. So,
yeah, I don't know much about Metroid Prime. I played the third one on the Wii. That's about it.
You played the third one.
I mean, that's I didn't have a choice. My dad bought me a Wii, and it came with the third game, and that was like the only game I had for a while. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll play this. I had that and Smash Bros. Brawl. I think that's all I had.
Oh, wow.
Do you expect me to just not play the Wii? Granted, this was like 12 years ago.
Yeah, it constantly throws me off that the Wii is that old.
Yeah, it is old.
I'm still hoping for a Metroid Prime trilogy.
It'll never happen.
Remaster. Don't say that, Ethan. I have small things that I cling to.
Same. That's
other news from Mitch. Winter Horde has given some studio updates. So, new album, and I don't have to wait like 10 years for it like you normally do. So
nice. I know you did send me that, but I did not get a chance to look at it yet.
I also just posted it in our group.
Oh.
Or on our page, I mean. Yeah, I don't have too much news. That's pretty much it. There's like small things here and there. I did have a lot more news, but Mitchell forgot. Sluggage, the beautiful boys that they are, released a ugly metal Christmas sweater of their latest album with Esoteric Malacology. There we go. That's the word. The cover art. And I was like, finally, a metal sweater I can get behind.
Nice. I was considering, I don't think Cattle put out one, but I remember seeing somebody that I follow put out an ugly Christmas sweater. It wasn't a band. It was Matt Hardy. I'm like, I would buy that, but I'm broke. There's so much merch I want
for Christmas.
Well, I was like, it's getting so cold in my room because I don't think it's insulated properly, and the heat doesn't really come back here. So like, all I've had is shorts because I'm not going to wear jeans with my brace. I'm like, man, I could use some sweats. And then I was this should all be stuff that goes after the reviews, but whatever.
No, it's news. It's news. It's fine.
This isn't news. This is me about to complain about the prices of sweats. I looked at. Are you aware of the company MeUndies?
Yeah. No, they're expensive as hell.
They are quite expensive, at least for their sweats. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and pretty much every popular podcast has been sponsored by Me Undies. So I was like, well, I'll use Cox and Crendor's code to go see how much stuff is. And I've looked at it before, and I'm like, boxers aren't that expensive. I'm broke. I can't afford any right now, so I'm not going to get it. But I was like, I think they have sweats. Let me go look at that. And they're like $70. They're, I'm like, I could. No, I don't want that. Because it's so expensive.
One of my roommates uses them, and
I've heard they're great quality.
Yeah, like I've heard they're like fantastic quality. They feel great. Their underwear, whatever.
And hey, Me Undies, if you want to send me one to try, I will totally accept that sponsorship.
Wow, you'll accept Me Undies sponsorship, but you won't accept Raid Shadow Legends.
That's because Raid Shadow Legends isn't a good product.
What about Raycon, man? We're audio.
Raycons are gross too. Have you seen the EQ curves on a set of Raycons? It's like
I've heard the bass is like horrible on those things.
Oh, dude, too. I have a channel for you. I'll send it to you after we're done recording. But it's this. It's an Australian guy named Dank Pods. He's very funny. He's very entertaining to listen to. But he reviewed Raycons, and like, if you think Beats are bass heavy, like Raycons are 3 times as bass heavy as Beats are.
Oh, like that's not good.
And I'm not joking. That's not an exaggeration.
Because Beats are terrible.
Yeah, and I mean, I will never use a pair of even if Raycon's is like, hey, if they came out, it's like, hey, we have a new thing that's like not as bad. Do you want to try them? I'm like, I'll try them, but I'm not gonna do the sponsorship until I know if I like them or not. Not that we're in any discussions of getting a sponsorship from anybody at the moment.
Everybody, we are selling out.
We get 10 listens an episode. We can get a Harry's sponsorship.
Oh yeah. Dollar Shave Club? Come on, like.
Nah, Harry's, brother. I'm kidding. I don't shave. But
neither do I. Oh. No, you know what? I'll save that for discussion.
But I was looking to get sweats, and I was like, well, I could just go. And then I when I was on the Cattle merch shop, they have they released a remaster of their first record, Human Jerky, which is still their grindcore stuff. But they have some merch based on that, and they have like one of those. It's not a mask, but I think it's called a gator or something. I was like, that's not that expensive, and it's the cover of that. Except that if you know that album art, it's literally just a calf's head that is split in half, vertically, and then that's the cover. And it's real. It's not. So I'm like, I don't think I can convince somebody to get me that. But they have a pair of shorts. I'm like, not shorts, sweats. I'm like, these are only $30. I can get 2 of those for the price of 1 Me Undies sweats. But there's just a lot of merch I want, and I just can't do it. Can't get it.
But, oh man, I had some in the works, and now I can't remember what it is.
Was it Jared Dine's ex Heafy?
No, but that is something that we should talk about. Also, I remembered what I was going to say. Thank you, Pills. So, since you decided to bring up
Dine's
Casualty Cap merch, merch, specifically pantswear, Mastodon, as much as I know you love them, had the best merch ever, which was a pair of booty shorts that on the ass said Astodon.
Well, do they come in my size is the question.
Of course.
I would wear them. I would wear them on, and I wouldn't wear them on stage, but I would wear them.
Please no. please no.
You gotta make a name for yourself, kid.
Well, if that ever happens, know that will be the last episode of this podcast ever. So yeah.
Anyway, right, we'll start with
news.
We'll start with my news because it's been 40 minutes.
I'm sorry. It's been 40 minutes. Oh,
yeah, it's been 40 minutes since we started recording. I mean, that 15 of that was probably preamble, but
okay. Well, to be fair, I did say some news.
You did say some news. I do appreciate you coming with some news.
And you said some news.
Yes, we did. We since we brought it up, there's a collaboration musically going on with Jared Dines and Matt Heafy of Trivium. Jared Dines being a fairly, I would probably still say he's a fairly popular metal YouTuber. I used to watch a lot of his stuff. I've kind of fallen off of his material as of late. I just kind of felt like it was getting a little stale a couple years ago. But I know he does, it was more of just like the 10 things every metal guitarist does. And I'm like, everybody's kind of doing these, and it's kind of a handful of like the same 30 jokes. So I'm like, that's cool. I still think he's a great musician, and I like his vocals a lot too. But I recently, Mitch sent me the news, and then I saw it randomly on YouTube. So Matt Heafy and Jared Dines dropped a song, I believe called "My Anxiety" or something along those lines. Let me. I
do love how they made it the web link in OnlyFans.
Yeah, that was fun. It is called. It's called "Dear Anxiety." I'm sorry.
Yeah, and the only reason they did that was because I guess a bunch of people were asking Jared Dines and him to make an OnlyFans on Instagram because people are weird, and quarantine made OnlyFans extremely popular.
I mean, it's interesting because OnlyFans isn't just porn. It's a lot of porn, but it's not just porn.
It's not just porn.
I mean, there are music people on there. There are like workout people on there. I'm like, it's kind of interesting, but it's mostly porn.
It's mostly porn. Both of the softcore and hardcore varieties.
Lots of porn. Just an innumerable amount.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they dropped a song called "Dear Anxiety," and I actually thought it was pretty decent.
Yeah, it didn't sound bad. I mean, it didn't make me go woo, but it's like
I wasn't swooning over it or anything, but I liked the song. I liked the lyrical matter. I didn't like the spider imagery in the music video, but it fit for what they were talking about. It just made me pee a little. But it was good. I will definitely listen to more of what they drop. Because I've been growing to really like Matt Heafy recently. Not that I didn't like Matt Heafy before, but like I've been looking more into his work. I guess I never brought it up, but a couple of episodes into the show, I had listened to all of the newest Trivium record, and I thought it was pretty good.
I thought their last two records were pretty solid. They're not Shogun, but I'm never going to get Shogun again. I kind of want to sometimes just like find Matt Heafy and just be like, okay, we're going to sit down and me and you are going to write Shogun 2. And I'm not leaving until you do. This is not a threat. No one tell Matt Heafy. I'm doing this in a friendly manner.
Does Matt Heafy have a cameo? I think he does.
He probably does, but he is also a Twitch streamer, so I could always just like give him some subs and be like, hey, can I write Shogun 2 with you?
It's actually like I forget that he's a Twitch streamer because every time I go to log into my Restreamio account or Streamlabs OBS or whatever, he's literally like on the side of the web page. Like, oh yeah, I forgot Matt Heafy does stuff other than music.
Yeah. Well, I mean, half of his Twitch streaming is music, and then the other half is him playing Valorant or Among Us or some other battle royale or other game of some variety.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, Dines X Heafy. Dines X Heafy. I'm excited for it. I'll definitely listen to some more. That was that. Originally, I was going to do more gaming news since we were kind of heavier about that on the opening, but we seem to have transitioned back to music. So I will go through my music related stories first.
Also, just as a teaser, I might make Ethan listen to a song that will actually hopefully make him swoon.
Speaking of music news, I'm still waiting for you to say yes or no if you're going to write violin for that song or not.
Okay, like I said, it was probably yes. Give me
I know.
Give me a break.
I'm messing with you. He's tabbing stuff and writing out music for it at the moment. I'm just messing with you.
Nice.
Anyway, so Loudwire articles. I actually do have a Corey Taylor story.
No.
It'll come later, though. Well, it's because it's tied into a lot of other things. Loudwire article. Pop punk band plays show during pandemic, gets destroyed, plus go on hiatus. So it seems like a group... what was this band called? Pop punk band Hold Close recently decided to play a gig and ended up feeling the brunt of the backlash for doing so. They played at a place called the Odyssey Lounge in Springfield. Is MO Minnesota?
No, it's Missouri.
I thought it was Minnesota. Missouri, whatever.
Well, now you got me questioning. God.
I always thought it was Minnesota. I could be wrong. Springfield. No, you're right. I think MO was Missouri. I think it's Missouri. But after all the backlash,
Missouri.
they went on hiatus. So good job, guys. And then the rest of these are more just kind of song news, similar to that of Dines X Heafy. You know the band The Who? Like the HU, The Who.
Yeah,
not The Who, the Who, not The Who, not the Who are you? I can't do the throat singing. Actually, that hurt a lot. Me just trying to. So I'm going to take a drink real quick.
By the way, for everyone that wants to know, Minnesota is MN.
Yes, that makes sense. The Who.
I can do some throat singing, but
I've done it
not
before.
To their extent. It's usually me just doing like a held note. Yeah, it's like it's what this
I can't do it. It hurts.
Yeah. I did it like Sluggish did in that one song where it's just like one word.
It's more like overtone singing, like what they did. Which I've done before. It's not as hard as like actual like what the Who do.
But the Who are also Mongolian and know what they're doing.
So anyway, the Who actually released a cover of Metallica's "Sad But True" the other day.
I hated it.
I thought it was interesting. I don't think I would ever like willingly listen to it. And if it came on, it would never come on the radio. But if I was out and about and I heard it, first of all, I probably wouldn't recognize it as "Sad But True." But I'm like, oh, this is weird. I like it.
You would recognize the riff.
That's true, I suppose. I didn't recognize the very beginning of their version until until it hit. I thought it was interesting, but they turned "Sad But True" into a Mongolian folk music. It was definitely it's interesting that it's translated into Mongolian.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah, but otherwise, I'm like, this is just kind of it just kind of exists.
Yeah, and like, I'm not a big Who fan, like myself, either band. I think they're cool and everything, but I think like a lot of their music is just very oversimplified and kind of samey throughout the entire song.
I can feel that. There are really only two songs that I really like by them, and it's their two most popular songs.
I think they're cool, and I think they're interesting, and they got like really, really popular. Like even my mom knows who they are and wanted to go see them live.
I'd go see them live. I think I'd go see them live. I think it'd be interesting.
But
I wouldn't go see it if it was just them.
Yeah, I like that they're, getting that Mongolian thing kind of popular, and also like maybe some hard rock metal kind of a bit popular. But yeah, as me who I am and how you people know me, not my thing. I have a cat on my foot.
Much like last week. Why is it so loud in my house? So yeah, The Who released that. I thought it was interesting. But similarly, there've been over the weekend, there apparently was a Alice in Chains special honor show type thing where a bunch of different bands and artists came together to celebrate Alice in Chains.
Oh yeah, I think I saw like one huge collaboration doing an Alice in Chains song.
Mm-hmm. So there, I wonder if this has the list. The the one that I saw, the one that I first saw was it was just a bunch of different bands, bunch of different artists came in and covered Alice in Chains music. The first one I saw was Metallica's version of Wood, which I thought was very good, surprisingly, because, and I say surprisingly, not that I don't think Metallica can cover Alice in Chains' Wood. Typically their covers are actually like pretty good most of the time. But in 2006, Alice in Chains actually had James come up on stage to play that song, and it was horrible. The performance was just bad. But this one was really good. It was stripped back. It was acoustic, and it was a very good rendition of the song. Metallica weren't the only band that played Wood. Korn also did a cover of Wood. Did not like it as much. I think I actually do enjoy a lot of Korn's covers. If I want to listen to The Wall, I usually listen to, or Another Brick in the Wall, I usually listen to Korn's version just because it has all three parts in one track instead of separated. I also like their cover of We Care a Lot by Faith No More. It's very good. Except it's not available on Spotify. I always have to YouTube it. So they did that. Corey Taylor and a few other people did Man in the Box, and it was pretty good. I don't think that's too surprising. And then Jerry Cantrell's, I think, no, it wasn't Jerry Cantrell. It was Chris Cornell's daughter, Lily Cornell, made her musical debut during this show. I believe she sung Black Gives Way to Blue, I believe, which is the song that was so Black Gives Way to Blue was their first record after Lane Staley died, and Black Gives Way to Blue is the title track, obviously, and it's about Lane. So she covered that with a former Queensryche guitarist, Chris DeGarmo. I have not listened to this one. It was just it was in the articles that I was looking through, and I thought it was very interesting. So, but from where I'm saying, people say she did a great job. So that
nice.
That was cool.
Mitch has more music news now that I think about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, one, this isn't news because this is 8 years old.
So
but
you're lying.
I have news outside of this. This is just because you brought up Alice in Chains, and it reminded me of something. Okay. You'll never guess who has a cover of the song Wood.
Opeth.
Fuck you.
Yep. When I was posting about it, first of all, so the kind of a tangent.
Oh, great.
Sorry. When all this was dropping, I had gotten people mad at me on Facebook because I may or may not have suggested that Pantera is overrated. On my Facebook feed, and it made people upset. So every time I look, because I listen to some Pantera, I just do think they are overrated and I don't get the worship. But I was having one guy get really, really mad at me, essentially, because I posted it as like, you spelled Metallica wrong. I'm like, okay, like, you're obviously getting way more mad about me making fun of Pantera than I'm getting mad about you making fun of Metallica. But so every time I shared anything Metallica related within the next day or two, they would laugh react it every time. Whatever. But then I saw the Wood, the Wood phrasing, the covers of Wood. And then when I, on one of those metal group pages I'm on, somebody posted about the Metallica one. I was like, I thought it was surprisingly pretty good. And somebody else posted have you ever listened to the Opeth version? I'm like, I don't think I have. So I did. And I was like, this is really good.
Yeah,
it's
of course
different.
It is.
Yeah, no, it was good. I thought it was a very good rendition. I don't necessarily think any of the versions I listened to were better than the original, but I also really, really like that album in general, but also Wood is just a fantastic song. But I think out of the three, Opeth's was probably the best cover, followed shortly after by Metallica's acoustic version. I just wasn't big into Korn's. Not that they didn't do a good job. I thought it was fine. It just, I don't know. I don't think their style kind of fit with it. Unlike they did back in 2003, either shortly before or after, it may have been 2004. It was around the Saint Anger release time frame. MTV did like a Let's Celebrate Metallica type thing, and they had a lot of the new metal bands of that era come out and cover Metallica material. And I think the Korn did one, and I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was a great cover. And surprisingly, and you might laugh, but Limp Bizkit
Oh, God.
did a cover of Welcome Home Sanitarium, and it was not half bad. I actually thought it was a pretty decent cover.
Okay.
It's the only good thing. It's the only praise I will ever give Limp Bizkit on anything for the rest of my life, hopefully. But I actually, if you're interested in it, I suggest checking it out. I don't remember who else did anything on there. I just remember those two versions of those songs. I thought were pretty interesting.
All right. Other news.
Sorry.
Howard Jones released a very short cover of Leonard Skinner's Simple Man.
Interesting.
And I mean, I love Howard Jones's vocals.
Oh yeah, he's a great vocalist.
It was fantastic. He's a great singer. I love him. It was only like 1:50. It was just, like get through like the first.
Just
verse.
like an a cappella, or did it have the backing track?
It had a backing track, but the backing track was like church organ.
Interesting. I think I'm unfamiliar with the song itself.
Oh, really? Okay. It's a good song. If you like, Southern rock and everything.
I can appreciate it. I'm not the biggest Skynyrd fan.
I actually, I knew, back in high school, I was a huge Shinedown fan. I don't dislike Shinedown now, but I do.
I think they're decent. They're good for like radio rock.
Yeah, I haven't listened to them in a long time, but they did a cover of Simple Man as well, which was really good.
I may have heard that version then. It's possible. My old roommate is very into Shinedown. Apparently their last two records weren't very bad, weren't half bad either. I have to check that Howard.
That Joward Hones video.
Howard Jones. That I was going to say Howard Benson, but like, nope, that's the producer.
Yeah, that's not even close.
I don't know. Like, is Howard Jones isn't currently in Killswitch right now, is he?
No, the original
Killswitch.
Yeah, the original Killswitch singer is in, which I like.
Because they kind of take turns, don't they?
No,
they like, kind of go back and forth.
No,
I thought
it was the original singer. Then Howard Jones was on for like 3 albums, and then the original singer came back, and it's been the original singer since.
However, they did do a duet. Like
they've done 2 duets during the Howard Jones era. They did one song where it was a duet, and then when the guy came back, there was another song that the Howard Jones took part of. And when they go live, sometimes Howard Jones will join them for, I think, the end of Heartache.
What does he do? Is he in an active band?
Yes, he is. I always forget the name because they constantly change the name.
Because, like, I don't think the thing is, I never really listened to a lot of Killswitch.
I mean, you should definitely listen to the 2 albums. I know there are 3 albums by Howard Jones, but you should not listen to the Killswitch Engage album. By that, I mean the album that is called Killswitch Engage.
The self-titled.
But, yeah.
Yeah, they have the end of Heartache, As Daylight Dies, and then Killswitch Engage.
Yeah, listen to those 2, and yeah, that's all I can say about that.
The other band he is in is called Light the Torch, but they were formerly known as Devil You Know.
Yes, there we go. Yes. They're all right. It's not Killswitch, and as much as I'm not a metalcore fan, I did have a metalcore phase, and Killswitch was my band for that.
Well, Killswitch, as well as Trivium, because Trivium is usually labeled as metalcore for some reason.
Trivium is the other metalcore band that I like.
Yeah, it's like they're metalcore, but it's not your. I hate this way of putting it, but it's not your like Hot Topic metalcore. Like it's not your for like the entire song. Like as much as I got into like the heavier music through like Devil Wears Prada, they aren't like Devil Wears Prada. Oh, dude, some of their music came back on my Facebook feed. I'm like, how did I listen to this?
Well,
like, I'm not saying that like
I used to listen to I Set to Kill, and I've gone back to that, and I'm like, How? Why?
Yeah, I mean, from what I've re-listened to, it's not like it's the worst thing ever, but like I don't get any enjoyment out of it. The song specifically that popped up, I believe, was off their third record, which I think was called With Roots Above and Branches Below, and I believe the song was Assistant to the Regional Manager. I'm like, this is boring. Like, this is just straight boring. Now, from that record, I still like songs like Sassafras and Danger Wildman because they're a lot more. They're a bit thrashier. They're more upbeat, and you know, I don't want to like use heavier as like a broad term, but it's more crushing than this song because it is a bit more mid-paced, has a lot more synth in the leads and things like that. I'm just like, this is kind of boring. Whereas the other ones, I'm like, all right, I can still kind of jam to this, but
you know, I while you were talking, I brought up an I Set to Kill song that I knew I used to like. It's definitely not like, oh boy, please bring this back to me. But it's definitely not as bad as I remember either.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are some way, way worse stuff that I've heard that I listened to back in the day that I just thought was interesting because I'm like, screamy, go, type stuff. Like, I remember...
For me, it was just the combination of female vocals and the heavier stuff for this band.
Okay. I guess I don't know I Set to Kill. Are they still a thing?
Oh, hell, I don't know, and I don't care.
I mean, but I remember when I first started getting into like screamy music, I would listen to quote unquote. I think I used to be the guy that would search screamo cover or death metal cover, and then everything that popped up definitely was not death metal.
Wow!
Like I remember, do you know the name I Set My Friends on Fire?
Yes.
I think they're the same band as Calvary Kids. I think those are the same thing. And I remember there being a Calvary Kids cover of Soulja Boy's Crank That Soulja Boy that I liked a lot back in the day. And I know for a fact that if I go to YouTube and I type in Calvary Kids Crank That Soulja Boy, I will not enjoy what I hear. But I also remember like covers in general were interesting to me. I liked Woe Is Me's cover of Poker Face, I think it was. I don't know. I always liked those punk goes pop covers, even though they were the most formulaic, connect the dots, paint by numbers, metalcore covers you could get. But when I was first starting to get into metal, it's like, I know what they're saying in this song.
So do you want to do the discussion portion for the beginning this time?
What's that? I'm sorry?
Do you want to keep doing the discussion portion for the beginning?
By all means, let's go. I don't care at this point. We'll keep going. So, if people are going to listen, they're going to listen.
The other bit of news that I have is Legion, which is how you pronounce that band's name.
Okay. Yeah, I found out what other band I was thinking of. They're from Evansville. But anyway, continue about Legion.
Well, yeah, Legion's from Colorado. My boy Greg, even though I probably can't really say that because we're not like friends, but we occasionally chat on Instagram.
And you also occasionally chat with Sarah Longfield. I don't necessarily think you're friends.
No,
with Sarah
I actually do chat with the Greg. Like my chats with Sarah are like 2 lines of text, and that's pretty much it. With Greg, at least I'll get some discussion and conversation, and he posts about how his cat's a terrorist.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Greg is a very, very good musician, not just a regular guitar player. He is a very well trained classical guitar player. And I guess that I knew he had been working on this for a while, but I had completely forgotten about it because he made an Instagram post of Bach's concerto in D minor, and I believe it's a piano concerto. And I was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm not going to tell." And I was like, "Bruh." And they finally released it, and they did a metal cover of Bach's Concerto in D minor. Obviously, Riley, their vocalist, isn't on it. I don't know if people don't know this or not, but Bach did not have lyrics to that concerto. Yeah, it's unfortunate. But basically what they did, I watched a little documentary, is they had the violin, cello, viola, and I think there might have been a bass in that arrangement, but I could be wrong. But the violin, cello, and viola stayed in there. But they split because they both play 8-string guitars, they were able to split up the piano section on both guitars. So it's like Greg is playing the right hand and the other guy, who I don't know their name, sorry guys, is playing the left hand. And it is really good, and it's a very dynamic piece. And so when they get to the like piano and pianissimo parts, they switch over to classical guitar. And he had another really popular classical guitarist, which I can't remember her name right now, but she's been on one of their albums before and play. And it is such a lovely, beautiful experience that just goes to show that metal, just depending on the style, like Metallica by no means is a band that uses classical music theory. They're definitely using blues and rock and roll theory, which rock and roll theory is just blues. But they just kind of, it just shows that like metal of certain varieties really is entrenched in that Baroque style, because honestly, if you release that and then just had a guy growl over it a couple of times, I wouldn't have been able to tell that was a Bach concerto. Like,
yeah, dude. I mean, metal,
it was so good.
It's something I got into an argument with a dude in high school about. Now, granted, back when I was in high school, I didn't really have the knowledge to back up the sayings, because I think I had watched part of, or I saw a clip of Headbanger's Journey.
Right.
And I think in Headbanger's Journey, they bring up that metal shares a lot of DNA with classical music. It was either that or it could have been something else I watched, but I brought that up, and this dude was kind of a douche, just in general. I won't name names, obviously, but he's like, no, that sounds like BS, like metal's stupid and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, metal and classical are very closely like because classical music, and I mean, not all metal is technical per se, but classical music is basically just metal without the electricity. In my opinion.
And it's definitely out of the classical era, it definitely most resonates with the Baroque period. So that's like Bach and Beethoven versus like Mozart, and I think Vivaldi. I want to say Vivaldi was classical and not Baroque.
I don't know the difference. It's all classical to me. But that's because I'm uneducated.
I mean, well, you're not technically wrong as long as when you say classical, you mean you're talking about either Baroque. Oh, shit, Vivaldi was Baroque. Damn it. Oh, I'm a stupid idiot. As long as you're referring to Baroque, classical, or Romantic period music, then sure, you're not wrong. You can call it classical. But as soon as you're like, oh man, I love Stravinsky, he's my favorite classical composer, you're an idiot.
Who's Stravinsky?
He's contemporary. Stravinsky wrote a...
like modern classical?
Shut the... Let's go... Gross.
Look, you know what I mean when I say modern classical, which I think literally just translates to contemporary.
Do you not know who Vivaldi, Stravinsky is?
I probably do. I just don't know him.
He wrote The Rite of Spring. He was an important composer in the early 20th century. Stravinsky was really important because I'm sure you know there's what's known as the devil interval, also known as tritones.
Tritone.
Stravinsky was like the first composer who was like, I like that. That's kind of cool. And so he wrote The Rite of Spring, which is about Russian paganism and ritual sacrifice. And it's a ballet. It's a really metal ballet, like just musically it is djenty as hell, man. There were apparently riots that happened from him doing this. It was like so unheard of and not cool to do. And he's like, "No, man, fuck you. I'm doing it." So, yeah, he was really cool. And then you get people like John Cage who says interesting things, but also like, screw John Cage because 4 minutes and 33 seconds of silence is not music. I don't care what you're trying to get through people's head. Rant over. Anyways, so yeah, really good cover of a Bach concerto. The only other like classical music metal cover that I really like is Ex Mortis did Moonlight Sonata, and it's very good. It's very good and very riffy and solo-y and show-offy, and it's really good. This episode's going great.
It is. Also, like, I just... do you have anything else? I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, since we're just doing discussion, why don't you listen to that Howard Jones thing? It's only a minute.
Because I want to get through my news stuff.
So you're still not done with news?
No, because we've only done like 2 things, and then we keep getting sidetracked.
To be fair, everything I said
I haven't even gotten to my game news other than Cyberpunk.
Oh, Jesus. All right, go on.
Well, something I just learned, there's another like weird unreleased Slipknot album that I've never heard of, and that makes me mad because I thought I've heard of everything, but that's not important. It was in a article of Slipknot might be Corey Taylor says there might be a new Slipknot album next year. That's cool. Their last one was decent. That's all I got for music news. Now we're gonna just hyper lightning round to go through the rest. There's a new they've reissued a new Godzilla comic through IDW and Toho partnership. That's cool. I thought that ended, but it's targeted towards middle schoolers, so I'm not really going to worry about that. Really want to go back and read Godzilla in Hell. I heard that was a very interesting comic series, but I think there was only about 6 of those. Sort of interesting movie news. Warner Brothers has announced that Dune, The Matrix 4, Suicide Squad, Godzilla vs. Kong, basically every movie Warner Brothers is in charge of is just going to go straight to HBO Max now, which makes me think that movie theaters are just going to die soon, which makes me kind of sad. They're still saying that, like, oh, Godzilla Kong is still going to be released in IMAX, hopefully. Like, I'd like to go see that. Oh, they also showed 3 whole seconds from Godzilla vs. Kong. The movie was supposed to come out this May. I just want a trailer. They need to put Legendary. Just put out a trailer. The movie, it's been too long. Anyway, so movies are dying. Video game news. Spyro 4 possibly teased by Activision, which I'm super excited for. Apparently, because Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time was really, really good. So I'm excited for that.
Did that come out?
Yeah, it's been out for about a month now.
I didn't know that. I'm not a fan of platformers, despite the fact that I'm a huge Metroid fan.
Yeah, so you're a poser. But also,
no, I don't know Metroidvanias.
I don't know if I would consider... Yeah, Spyro's a platformer. What am I talking about?
Yep.
I was like, oh, they're collectathons. I'm like...
I don't like that style platformer.
I liked Crash Bandicoot, but I was always so bad at it that it never really stuck with me. I always loved Spyro because I just liked Spyro. And then they did the HD re-release and I loved it, and I can't play it anymore because I paid for it with the guitar player from my last band on his band account and his PlayStation account, and I can't access anymore, and it makes me sad. So I'm going to get it on PC at some point. But Spyro 4 possibly teased. I'm excited for that. This one's more interesting. I don't know if you'll have any, because I never got to play it, and I'm not big on the series itself, but I know there's a lot of fanboys and fangirls about Scott Pilgrim.
I've never touched Scott Pilgrim.
I've seen most of the movie, and I thought it was really good. I've never actually sat down to watch it all the way, or I've never read the comic either. Or the book, whatever, you know what I mean. But there was this
graphic novel.
The graphic novel. There was a game that was released on the Xbox Live Arcade. Remember those days? That everybody seemed to love. It was by Ubisoft. I believe, and I say that because it's Ubisoft like that has announced it. It was pulled off of the store and just you couldn't play it anymore for years and years and years and years. You just could not play the Scott Pilgrim versus the World video game. Well, Ubisoft announces that the game is being re-released on January 14th.
Neat.
So, just in terms of gaming history, like I find that to be rather cool. Because it's always kind of sad when games just become unavailable to play anymore. Also, questioningly, Rocksteady has put out 2 new Batman skins for the Arkham Knight, like, recently. So it's just kind of interesting to see that they're still kind of supporting that game. They put out... I could have sworn the anime Batman skin was already available, but who knows, maybe I'm wrong. But they also announced the Zur-En-Arr Batman skin. I just thought it was interesting. And my last thing, which makes me sad, don't expect Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 in the first half of 2021. Which sucks because it was supposed to be out like now. So, big bummer. I can't remember which one of us is supposed to go first in our reviews today.
What did I review last?
You reviewed Mate, Feed, Kill, Repeat by Slipknot. I can't remember if you went first or last time. I think you went last.
This is a dilemma. Why don't we check our podcast page very quick?
Yeah, you went second because, like, at about 2 hours, I think we're still talking about Slipknot. So you're up first today, Mitch. Mitch,
ooh,
what did you listen to this past week?
Oh
Couple
boy,
weeks.
I listened to twice. Because I was tired.
I feel that. That's basically just been what I've been doing for the past few episodes.
I listened to Archspire, a Relentless Mutation.
Some techie boys.
Some very techie boys. Now the question is, are they true techie boys?
I mean, they do have the whole, like, their whole slogan and advertising merch campaign is literally "Stay Tech."
No, well, I mean, that's great, beautiful. No, to be true techie boys, you must come out of Canada, and they are from Canada.
They are from Canada. So yes, they passed the test.
They passed the test. If any other kind of metal comes out of Canada that's not tech death, what are you doing? Canada's tech death. Damn it. Oh, except Devin Townsend. He can do whatever he wants.
Is he from Canada?
He's Canadian.
Of course he's Canadian.
Of course he's Canadian.
He's a madman.
Anyways, yes. So I actually, before we started, took some notes.
Oh, you took notes. That means you probably didn't like it.
No, actually, I did enjoy this album.
Sweet.
There's not much I can say on it, but I will do my best. It's a tech death album, and I like tech death, but there's a point where I don't like tech death, and that's when it becomes just like nothing but like gobbledygook. Let's see how many notes we can play all at once. Sweep the entire 8-string in like 2 seconds. Constant, like, just drums everywhere at like 400 BPM, bass just going crazy in the background. Yeah, that's not Archspire. They are good techie boys. Some things I have to say. The album flows well. One thing that I found interesting is the parts where it probably wouldn't have transitioned well. They were just like, you know what would be a good way to transition this? Let's put a bit of silence in there for like a second.
Yeah.
And it works. It works. And so it's disjuncted, but it's a good kind of disjuncted. My least favorite thing is the vocalist, and I still like him, but there are parts in which there are no instruments, or maybe it's just drums in him, or they're doing like that kind of chorey chuggy thing where it's like a little bit of rhythm and then silence and then a little bit of rhythm and then silence. And I just don't think his vocals sound good enough growling to be by themselves.
With his style, what I've always noticed is that because he does fast. He real fast. He do be fast. So the one thing that I know for sure that you might be talking about is the intro to Calamus Will Animate, because it has that weird like with just like what sounds like a snare in the background, just matching what he's playing. Fun fact, that's actually a shotgun sample and not a snare. Dave Otero is a madman. He also Dave Otero did this record, which is the same guy who's done the last 3 Cattle albums. He's so good. Anyway, he has like a number of different sounds when it comes to growling, because he can do like the really deep gutturals, but when he's doing those super fast bits, he's only using just barely enough air to create the growl. Right. And that's why it kind of sounds weak compared to everything else, just in terms of like actual, like it's not very loud, because it isn't. I don't know if that had anything to do with what you were saying. I'm sorry, continue.
There was even some parts with just the rhythm and the speed. It almost felt rappy.
Well, he does practice with rap. That's how he got really good at doing super fast stuff. Like he would growl along to Tech 9 and stuff like that.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that would be the way to do it. So, well, that explains it. That kind of flow and everything. He did some pig squeals in a part, and no. Mitch no likey.
I love pig squeals. I'm not sure where you're talking about though. The only
I could also be calling pig squeals the wrong thing, but I'm pretty sure I'm not.
Unless if you have a timestamp, I cannot either confirm nor deny. What I know, like off the top of my head, that's like almost pig squealy is an involuntary doppelganger. It's just more of that the type.
No, like it wasn't that. Oh, yeah, I could see where that's a shotgun sound.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know that until I watched. There was a Nail the Mix video of Dave Otero being like, "Yeah, so we went out shooting," and I was like, "Let's sample this shotgun I have." I actually used to hate this band.
Really?
Yes, I didn't get it because 2 of the dudes in my last band, they like cream over Archspire, and I'm like, it's just, to me it was like one of those look what we can do. The band.
Okay. When I heard like cream, I thought you meant the band Cream, and I was like, no, those are really different sounds.
No, not what I meant. It was a euphemism.
Yes.
I was like, yeah, I get it. Go fast forehead. That's about what it was. And then like before I really knew the band, I remember Chavez showing me a song off their previous record called Fathom Infinite Depth, which is another song where he's growling really, really fast, but it's not nearly as fast as he goes on this album, like, say, Involuntary Doppelganger. And I was just like, yeah, he growls really fast, and I hate it. Like, it makes me mad. But I've grown to appreciate it because Gage messaged me. He's like, hey, do you want to try and do a cover of Involuntary Doppelganger? I'm like, I can try. I haven't heard that song. So I did. And after listening to it for about 15 seconds, I decided, no, I can't do a cover of Involuntary Doppelganger at this time. But then I just kind of let their popular songs play on Spotify. I was like, okay, I think I get it. I understand this band now. And it's not that they're even, it's definitely not like Brain Drill where it's just look what we can do, and it's not musical. Like I find the music to actually be well written, very pretty at times too.
I mean, to me, this is on par with like Beyond Creation, though I do like Beyond Creation a bit more. Mm-hmm. And like Allegiant, which is also a tech deathy symphonic band, and a couple of other techie bands that I listen to that I can't think of the names of right now.
Like I call Archspire like kind of the modern day necrophagist, like with how much attention they get from the tech death community. And I've had people agree with me, and I've had people not agree with me. But I think it's a decent, like stylistically, they're very, very different. If you've listened to anything from Necrophagist versus Archspire, it's not like stylistically they're not doing the same thing, but everyone is like, Necrophagist needs to come out with a new album. Bleh, it'll never happen. And then everybody, like I said, they go nuts over Archspire. And for a while, I was like, they're kind of overrated. Don't get it. And now I'm like, I get it. I like it. I like it.
I'm looking at some of the YouTube comments, and it's like, listen at 0.75 speed to make it regular death metal. Listen at 1 point. This is the full album.
Okay.
Listen at 1.25 speed to make it an exercise in human limitations.
I think they did I think the drummer did a reaction video of somebody playing one of the songs at 1.25 speed or something.
Oh God.
I was like,
the other one I love is, I love the part where he goes bigga bigga bugga bugga ooh gaba boo gaba.
And like, yeah. Yeah,
I can't find these pig squeals, but I know they exist.
It's been a minute since I've listened to the whole thing, because I even think when I first listened to this record, it wasn't even in order. I listened to the whole thing because of Spotify's, like, their top songs are all from this record. And then I realized, oh, wait, there's only 7 songs. I technically listened to the whole thing.
Yeah, this is really short, honestly, for a
it's 30 minutes.
But it does not feel bad. It doesn't feel like I'm missing out. Like, it feels like 30 minutes was the correct length.
Yeah, it's 30 minutes, but it's packed to the brim for those 30 minutes.
Yeah, and like, as much as I love Allegiant, I do think sometimes their albums go long in the tooth. Even though they're only like an hour long, it just sometimes feels a little bit draggy, and I don't know why, because like I'll like every song and everything sounds different and scaped out, but I don't know. But
all of Archspire's albums are about 30 minutes.
Yeah, no, I was happy with this. I wish I could have spent some more time with it, but just wasn't fully there the entire time. I'm going to find this pig squeal.
Would you listen to their other material?
Yeah, I planned on checking them out, as well as like Igor and a bunch of other tech death bands.
I don't know if I would consider Igor tech death. They're just kind of weird. I do enjoy Igor.
I'm just surprised you said that, because they're like considered like the tech death band.
Igor? Like IGORRR?
I'm pretty sure.
No, they are like avant-garde, like real weird metal.
Oh, this is black metal. What? No, what? Okay, I'm thinking of a different band then.
Yeah, you definitely are. Because I like Igor, but like they are not your typical metal.
Canadian tech death.
And Igor's French.
Yeah. What am I thinking of?
I don't know, but I if you want to talk about like a tech death band that I don't understand.
Oh, wow. I don't know why I said Igor. I meant Gorguts.
Oh, Gorguts. Okay. I haven't listened to Gorguts. Another band that people really like to talk about along with Archspire, and this goes for my previous band too, which surprisingly Chavez and I agree with, but everybody else is like, I love this band. There's a band called Cytotoxin. I do not understand. I don't get it.
I know of them. I have never listened to them.
We listened to 1 or 2 full albums, like on the way to one tour, like on our way to New England or something, and it is the same song for like 40 minutes. Like, and it's not because it's one song. It's like it's a 10-track album, but it feels like it's the same song, and in not a good way. That's
never a good thing.
The vocalist has one setting. It's low pig squeals. That's all he does, really.
Gross.
And I get it. They're a tech / brutal death metal band, but I'm like, I'm just bored.
I will also say there are some really pretty moments in these albums.
Absolutely.
Found it! Aha! 1545 of the full album.
Just send me the link you have, because then it'll take me right. Then I can take it. Then I can take it right to it.
Oh yeah, I could do that.
Instead of me trying to fish around in Relentless Mutation. I mean, I don't hate those. I don't think there's anything special about the pig squeals, but
I don't like them. I've never liked that style. Even more so that it's just an effect. I think if it was just a one instance and then done kind of thing, just like the end of a phrase and you just have the one sound and then you're done. But it's the fact that it's carried on for so long and it's over and over and over. Maybe he's saying words to that, but I can't. If he is saying words, I have no clue.
If I had to guess, they are probably more of an effect than anything.
But yeah,
it's
good tech death. If you like tech death, if you want to get into tech death, this is a way to go. My introduction, I think, to technical death metal was Beyond Creation, which is not a bad place to start at all. Mm-hmm. They're really good.
My intro was Necrophagist.
See, I still need to listen to them.
It's nothing special anymore, dude. That's
fine.
Unless if it's the first thing you ever listen to. Yeah, it's historical. It's like listening to Heartwork by Carcass or something,
Gotcha.
Melodic death metal. I think that's melodic death. It was when Carcass was officially not grindcore anymore.
Would I recommend? Yeah. 7 out of 10.
Okay. I think that's fair.
It's solid. It's a solid album. It's good. I don't hate it, but I'm not head over heels for it. It's definitely a thing where I'd be like, I feel like tech death today. Put them on. But there was no songs that stood out to me or anything on that. And that's the one difference that I have between this and Beyond Creation or Legion. Because there are certain songs that I'm just ooh, I really, really, really like this song or that song. For Beyond Creation, they have a song called, oh my god, what is it fucking called? I know it. It's the last track on their second album. Oh my god, computer, stop tanking.
For me, the only things that really the big standout points are vocally, because A, I'm a vocalist, and B, I think that's really kind of the focus of the band, I think. It's just how ridiculous the vocalist is. So Calamus will animate that opening where he's growling really, really fast. Or I actually once I finally, because I've heard that song before, and when I heard that song, I was like, yeah, I don't get it. And then when I finally listened to the whole thing, I was like, okay, I really like the hook where it's Calamus will animate, and I'm like, this sounds cool. And then Involuntary Doppelganger finally hooked me in. So. But what Beyond Creation song were you thinking of?
I don't know. My fucking computer is just being shit right now.
Hold on.
It's probably because I've left this. It's probably because I've left this laptop.
So it's their second album.
Second album, last song.
Fundamental Process.
Yes. Just the intro alone is great because it just slowly comes in with faded guitars and bass going. It gets really pretty and then it just hits. But the bass, the way they mixed it creates such a good rumble, especially live throughout the facility. It just kind of shakes you a little bit. And it's It's a really well written song and I fucking love that song. And it's not even their most popular.
Oh, I guess Necrophagist has officially split up now instead of just being we're still working on stuff.
Oh, ouch. Ouch.
Yeah, apparently Muhammad quit playing guitar.
Oh, that's actually depressing.
It is a little depressing. But I guess the other members still do other things. I guess the bass player was in the band Pestilence, which I actually do know, and then he's also in a band called Grand Sermon. But they've only put out one album in the past 10 years.
Oh, well, that's good. Good track.
So that was interesting.
Still has a chance. It's not a Tool
They can
album.
come back. They can come back. They can come back. They can do it. They could do it. So yeah, I'm glad that you liked Archspire.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was like a throwaway for me or anything, but I was like, I listened to this, I kind of liked it. Let's see what Mitch thinks about it.
Yeah, but, and plus you knew I like tech death, but I barely have explored it.
Yeah, so I thought, if it was something I recently kind of started appreciating, I figured you would like it as well.
I gave you a really good album that you will share.
I mean, that's like front loading. That's definitely front loading when I don't open my segments by saying, well, I gave Mitch a fantastic album today, and it features the absolutely brutal vocalizations of John Gallagher, and I was describing Dying Fetus, by the way, but
yeah.
Here's the thing, what did you introduce this band genre wise last week? Because I don't agree.
They're hard.
Because I think you said they were Doom, which this album is not Doom.
No, the album is not. Their later stuff gets way doomier and slower.
Gotcha. Let me. I had them pulled up, but then we were doing other stuff.
So if you quickly looked up the song, "Only Death," I think is what it is.
Forget what popped up. Because when I listened to the record all the way through, it automatically kept playing their other stuff, and I forget what song it was. It might have been called "Judgmental" something.
Oh, that's from their second album.
Yeah, it was really heavy. I kind of dug that, at least the opening. I didn't listen to all of it, but it was kind of interesting.
That album is also solid.
But yes, you gave me an album by St. Petersburg, Russia. This is Metallum, by the way. Melodic death / gothic metal band.
I'll take that.
Dominia.
And Death Only was the song I was thinking of. From their third album, Theophania. Something like that.
It's kind of interesting that their last two full lengths don't have any reviews on Metallum. But then again, their other ones only have one each.
Yeah, they're definitely a very niche band.
And they used to be called Tentamentum.
I did not know that. I personally only like their first three albums. After that, I was just like, eh.
Well, that'll be nice once I tag them into this video or this episode.
Hey, at least I like their music.
Yeah. But yeah, apparently they were previously known as Tentamentum. They have an album under that name called Merman Destiny. It was released in 1999. But interesting. So yeah, he gave me the album Divine Revolution by Dominia. And it was definitely an interesting record. I liked it. I did like it, but I do think comparative to the last few albums you have given me, it was kind of like not a step back quality wise, but I don't think I enjoyed it as much as, say, Codex Omega or Virus or Blackwater Park Ghost Reveries. I still really enjoyed it though. It's something that I have recommended to people. So it's, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, no, that's a fair judgment. I can't constantly give you like
10 out of 10s.
Yeah. But I mean, for me, granted, it's been a while since I've listened to this. It's definitely up there for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I definitely enjoyed it. I actually do have notes. They're not as concise as some of my other ones, so I'll go through. It was mainly like, here are some overviews, my overview thoughts of some things, and then here's some specifics from songs if I feel like it. So I am reading off of my notes, so I apologize if I sound a little bit scripted, but I try to embellish a little bit as I'm reading. So we start off. I'm gonna pull up the track listing here. This record was released in 2006. It is called Divine Revolution, and it is about 47 minutes long if you don't count the bonus track that is also on Spotify, which I will not count, but it was a decent song, I guess. Runs about 9 tracks. Starts off with a song called "The Prophecy," and I do like the sound of this track. It's very epic sounding. I remember you mentioned, or like I think the way you described this band is they like had a guitarist and then they replaced a second guitarist with a violin or something like that, or maybe that's what they literally did.
They got rid. They don't have. I think they did have 2 guitarists at one point, but my whole point was the lead guitar that would be in most bands is instead a violinist.
Mm-hmm. I like it. I think it's done very, very well. The riffs throughout the song are great. I love the vocal patterns and the hooks in The Prophecy. I do feel like the song is like a hair too long for my taste. I just kind of start losing track at about the 6-minute point. Luckily, that is most of the song, but I just kind of start tuning out in the last minute. It pulls me back in with Pain into Eternity. It's a pretty song, has a nice landscape to it, but nothing too specific about that track. I will say the third song, Burial of Reasons, is, while not my favorite song on the album, I do think I would consider it my second favorite song on the record. This note I have here is more overall, and then it does start talking about Burial of Reason. I enjoy the vocal work throughout the record. Some songs have very interesting delivery, with vocals being almost spoken in strange voices and not always screamed or sung, kind of like in Burial of Reason as an example. The verses in Burial of Reason also gives me a little bit of a Trivium vibe, at least in delivery. Musically not so much, but vocally I kind of grabbed onto that, and I'm not sure how accurate it is. It's just my brain. That's what I was picking up. I also really like the piano work in Burial. It reminds me of something I would hear in like an old-timey movie, which I found very, very interesting. Really liked Burial of Reasons. I would say it's my second favorite song on the track, and we'll get to my favorite, obviously, later. Musically, I find this record to be fantastically written, especially when it comes to the ideas and the implementation of said ideas. And as I said, as my second listen of typing the notes, Burial of Reason was my favorite song at that time. I love the opening riff of The Darkness of Bright Life. It's a very, very chuggy song, but I can't recall the pattern off the top of my head to repeat it. All I know is that I was getting like serious Meshuggah face during it, so that's always a plus. It was a decent track. I like the riff in God is a Brand. It has almost a major key vibe to it. The song like surprisingly sounds happier than a lot of the other ones on the record, and I like the way that it sounds, but also as compared to the previous songs on the record so far, the lyrics for God is a Brand aren't quite as misanthropic or overly sad comparatively, but I can take or leave the lyrics on that song specifically. I do like the music, however. Then we get to a couple of tracks that I did not really like. I did not like The Beautiful Innocence all that much on my first listen, and it didn't really change on my second. Lyrically, and it is interesting that I put that, it sounds like lyrically the song kind of belongs more to goth, like a goth metal track, where Vital Archives do consider them goth metal. I wrote that they almost sounds like it should be in a Typo Negative song. And
yeah, so
go ahead.
I think one thing that will add to this, and I think I've stated this before, when we did the top band of each subgenre or whatever.
Yeah, they were brought up when we were talking about My Dying Bride.
Yeah, so they've done a lot of My Dying Bride covers.
Mm-hmm. I do not have much experience. I do not have much experience with My Dying Bride.
Yeah, it's your typical goth death sound. And yeah, this band definitely draws that influence, especially in their later work. I think the reason I chose this album over the other ones is just because this is way more heavy and fast-paced and more death metal-y.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. It has a bit more of a thrashier pace to it in most instances.
Yeah.
But that being said, I did not like Beautiful Innocence. I thought it was very, very cheesy, and the music didn't do much for me either. And then the song after that, called Save Yourself, I wasn't big on it either. The chorus, for some reason, and I don't think this is accurate, but it's what I was able to come up with while I was listening to it. I think the chorus in Save Yourself reminded me of System. or something from that era of metal, that earlier 2000s, which makes sense because it was released in '06. I couldn't quite put my finger on what I was kind of keying in on for Save Yourself, but it was interesting. I liked it a little bit more than Beautiful Innocence, but it was definitely another like kind of meh, I could take it or leave it song. We come across to the eighth track. I thought The Punishment was just okay. I kind of breezed through it. It almost became just kind of, for this track specifically, for some reason it kind of just became background noise while I was on my computer.
That's unfortunate. I love this track. I think the violin work in it with the organ on top and just the overall like mellow, deathy riff is just fantastic.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and I did enjoy it more than the previous two songs. I do recall I was like, this is a lot better. It's just, it was more on my second listen because I was like just trying to, I was on my computer. I was just scrolling through stuff. I kind of gone through the whole song without even noticing it played, which I think is a positive in my book because I felt no need to skip it, or I felt no negativity towards what was happening.
Right.
I like The Punishment. It was definitely better than those two songs previous. And then we come to the official closer of the album. The version I listened to did have a song after this, and I'll mention it, but I do not factor it into my score at the end. We come to the song Mountain of God's Depression. It's the longest song on the record, and it is also the grandest. I love the piano intro. It's absolutely gorgeous for about the first 2 minutes of the album, but I'm going to ruin it for you because I had a thought while listening to it, and I can't let thoughts go. It sounds like the piano in this song reminds me of like some of the sadder instrumentals of the original score for Shrek. So have fun with that. I don't know.
I think it's weird that you honed in on Shrek, but just but
I think it's
sad.
Yeah, I think it's just because I had, for some reason, watched a video talking about why Shrek is still how widely regarded or something like that. I think it's by the YouTuber called Nerdstalgic. Highly recommended. I like his videos. Yeah, I don't know why I honed in on Shrek either, but I was like, sounds like the song when Fiona is sad.
So that's weird.
It is weird. I'm sorry. That's just my brain.
You have this amazingly beautiful, just grand written piece, and you're like Shrek. Like, man, I even was like, when I suggested this, was like, just wait until you get to Mountains of God's Depression.
But that's the thing.
Slaps.
Shrek. You know, somebody once told me. But no, I mean, this is my favorite song on the record. It's just for some reason during the piano intro, I'm like, ha 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 ha. Anyway, the drop into the guitar and violin at about 2:20 is very nice. I will say the song is without a doubt the best track on the record. There's no arguments, though Burial of Reason is a close second for me. And lyrically, the song is also the best. I don't get any weird, edgy, or cheesy feeling from the lyrics like I do in songs like Beautiful Innocence or Save Yourself, for example. It's done very, very well. Easily the best track on the record. You're not going to get any arguments from me. In the version that I listened to, there was a bonus track called Cellar Door. It wasn't bad. I'm not going to include it in my rating. It was a good track, but Mountains of God's Depression is a much better closer. But I really did like the violin at the end of Cellar Door. If you want to hear something very, very pretty, it's on there.
Let's talk about the end of Mountains of God's Depression, though. Like, where they bring back the theme of the intro.
Mm-hmm.
So it like closes out with a nice violin solo after the vocals end. And like the outro of this piece is like almost like 3 minutes long.
Yes.
Intro or outro of instrumental violin solo. they kind of bring back that piano from the intro, but on top of it have violin an octave above it, and it just kind of like crescendos, and there's like a momentary pause, and then the drums and guitar kick in with it.
It was absolutely beautiful. It was
so well written. It is such a well written piece.
Mm-hmm. Was a yes, it is a fantastic song. It's a fantastic closer for said record.
Yes.
Now, that being said, everything being said, overall, I did enjoy the album. Like I said, kind of at the top, I didn't like it as much as some of the past few you've given me, but obviously you're not going to keep upping it every time. I don't think that's very feasible to even expect. Now, that being said, perhaps one of their other albums would click with me more. It may not. But I could see myself recommending either the record as a whole or definitely a handful of tracks. And I would probably give this like a 6 or a 7. Probably leaning more towards a 7 out of 10.
Oh, wow. I was thinking 7 or 8 myself.
Well, yeah, like I said, it was
what we want.
What's that?
I said we can't all get what we want.
Like I said, and I don't think it's bad, and I don't even necessarily think the 6 is indicative of it being a bad record. It's just since I didn't really like those 2 songs in there, I was like, okay, it's good, but there are some parts where I'm like, I could do without this 9 minutes of material or so. But 7-ish, I think, is what I would rate this. Like a 7 out of 10. I liked it a lot, but not quite as much as the previous stuff.
Right. I think you would definitely enjoy Judgment of Tormented Souls quite a bit. Fun fact, back when I had the band, we were called so many things at first. We started out at Roots of Trepidation, which is now my debut album, if that ever happens. Then we were Ethereal Solace. And then we became Aspis for like 2 seconds, and then the band broke up, and I was like, nah, Ethereal Solace, great name. But we did a cover of Angel Suicide that was never recorded, which is from Judgment of Tormented Souls.
Yeah, when I was listening to the record, I think Judgment popped up, and I was like, this is heavy. I kind of like it.
You should check out the album, and especially, in all actuality, you should, at some point, probably when we're done recording, give Angel Suicide a listen, because it is just good. It is a good song.
I will do that thing where I say I will listen to it, but if I actually do, is going to be hit or miss.
Cool. So,
no, I'll give it a listen. It's just after we're done recording, I'm going to go watch Pulp Fiction.
It is a great movie.
It is a great movie. So yeah, I both of us gave our records a 7 today. That's different. It's different. Yeah. Also, the only review of Judgment of Tormented Souls on Metallum gives it a 65.
Well, they're dumb and don't know what they're talking about.
See, when was this review given? 2009. Let's get mad about something 11 years ago.
I will. Because they're wrong.
Actually, the only one of their albums on here that has a good rating is Divine Revolution. Theophania and Judgment have 65s each. So
I could see Theophania being a bit lower. I still think it's a good album, but I definitely don't think it's as good as their first 2. It's much more gothy.
When you first gave me Divine Revolution, when I was like trying to think of what band did he give me, because I was out and about with Gage, and I was like, I should probably start listening to this, like, do you mind if I play it? And I couldn't remember which record it was. I thought you had given me Theophania. It looks interesting. I will definitely be listening to some of their other stuff. I might check out their newer material too, just to see how it is. Yeah, I'm into it. So, well, all of that being said, we kind of like did our normal talking routine at the beginning of this episode. So
even though we have a bit more to do,
we have one more article. So let's go ahead and like slap that on here real quick. We can continue after this. So Mitchell, I have the 10, apparently, according to Loudwire, and we know how accurate they are, an article posted today. The 10 most metal Christmas traditions. It is that time of year. Are you feeling in the Christmas spirit?
No, because why would I?
Yeah,
It's 2020.
depression all around. I'm actually having Christmas really early this year because my family didn't want to do like a closed-in get-together. And by that, I mean just in one of our houses, which is fair because my grandmother is worried, as I am too, about stuff like that. So on the 12th, we rented out like our church building so we can spread out and not risk spreading stuff any more than we have to because my family can't go a year without doing stuff, apparently. So whatever.
Yeah, I probably won't get to see my family for Christmas. Missed them on Thanksgiving, too. It's a great year.
Yeah, we shortened everything. Like, we're having Thanksgiving and Christmas on the 12th. So
yeah, but at least you're getting to see your family. I like when I say I didn't get to see my family, I'm like, I on Thanksgiving sat home by myself and I think ate pork chops.
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen my dad in like a couple of months at this point, so I get it. Top 10 most metal Christmas traditions. We will see how this goes. The first one, I don't think we have to go into very hard. It's the most well-known when it comes to like weird offbeat Christmas traditions. That would be Krampus.
Yes, Krampus.
Yes, Krampus will go around and beat. I don't like the word. I can't say the word naughty anymore because of the internet. Just in general. And I can't really say bad anymore either because of the internet. But Krampus goes around and beats the crap out of children with a
Can't wait
stick.
until that gets sexualized.
He beats children with a stick and puts them in there in his sack of coal. So it's kind of like the evil parts of Santa became a demon. Apparently, there was that movie that came out called Krampus, and I kind of want to watch it. I never have. I heard it's actually kind of good. All I know is it has Berta from 2.5 Man in it. 2.5 Man. That's my favorite show. Greetings.
I love that band.
We are 2.5 Man. It's the sequel to Primitive Man. Another metal tradition. Forgive me if I do not pronounce this correctly. Perchtenlauf. The Austrian Parade of Evil Spirits. Ooh. Turns out Austria, Krampus is also Austrian. So aside from Krampus, Austria also have to be aware of Perchten, an evil spirit minions of a winter witch. It is a tale that is results of people associating terrible things with winter, such as darkness and death, kind of like your classic, trying to explain why things happen. Every year at the beginning of January, Austrians dress in outlandish bestial costumes, bang metal drums, and during the Perchtenlauf, or Perchten Parade. Not quite sure why you're throwing a parade for the Perchten, unless if... First of all, you guys shouldn't be having a parade this year, unless if you're very far apart. Not sure what it doesn't.
I mean, to be fair, there are Krampus parades.
There are Krampus parades. We must celebrate the evil. Yeah, these masks are not. I should send this to you. Like, these masks are kind of weird looking. Let me send this in Discord. You can read along with me.
Oh boy.
Also, the Santa giving metal horns makes me want to die.
Yeah.
Yes, Perchtenlauf. That was the second. Number 3. We have Grilla, the two-horned ogress. Iceland has a female version of Krampus, a two-horned mountain ogress named Grilla. Each year at Christmas time, Grilla preys on misbehaved children, stealing them, cooking them into stew. Classic.
As you do.
Yes, as you do. Even today, Icelandic children are taught this creepy story to scare them into being good. Smithsonian reports she also ate her husband once out of boredom. All right, so if you're in Iceland, I'm really sorry about Mrs. Shrek coming to kill you.
Wow, those are masks.
Yeah, they certainly are masks. I'll include a link to this article in the show notes if anybody wants to see. Oh, did you mean the one? Did you mean the Perchtenlauf or the Druid mistletoe? Oh, because there's some.
I got to the yeah.
Hey, Mitch, you wanna explain what the picture for Druid mistletoe and sacrifice is?
Druid mistletoe is when World War I soldiers really get close to each other. I'm just describing the picture. You can actually discuss the... Now I got it.
Oh, I was just expecting you to describe the picture.
I did. 2 World War I soldiers getting really close under a mistletoe.
It's 2 people in gas masks trying to make out. That's what I need. Nobody knows what you're trying to say, my friend.
What do you mean? Everyone knows that gas masks were World War I.
Yeah, they're also 2020. Who cares?
No, they are not.
Apparently mistletoe was used in sacrifice. That's interesting.
That's neat.
I did not know that.
Hey,
humans are weird.
Cats mentioned. Yeah.
The next thing is called the wassailing, which sounds like, the way it's spelled sounds. I'm for some reason I'm speaking with an accent now. I think it's because of all these weird names. It's my bad. So the Loudwire says wassailing. Christmas caroling is mostly reserved for church groups and after-school programs, but the tradition has a slightly nefarious and just plain sloppy beginning. Hordes of drunken English commoners would go house to house in the tradition of wassailing. Wassailing, I think, is actually how it's pronounced. I think Cox and Crendor talked about this once. Pestering neighbors for food and drink to which they wouldn't normally be entitled. So it's kind of like Halloween, but for booze. In the giving spirit of... We should bring this back, actually, I think. Not this year, but maybe some other time when the world isn't dying. I need to go to my neighbor's house and be given whiskey. That's all I'm saying. Although apparently New York City has something similar called SantaCon. In the giving spirit of the holiday, they demanded refreshments to the point of trespassing and violence. So you better give me that drink, dude. I've been out here wassailing all night. I need to wet my whistle.
You gotta keep the buzz going.
Okay, here's one. I just apologize. Calican. I'm gonna look it up. It's something goblins. That's what I can do. Pronounce in English. How to pronounce whatever this is. Calicanceros is apparently how it's pronounced. The Calicancero goblins.
Now that is a metal band name.
That, like Calicanceroi, is it like how it's kind of spelled here? I could see that being a metal name. That is some folk metal right there. So the Greeks imagined their Christmas villains to be goblins. They burrow out of the ground every year. During the 12 days of Christmas, they cause mischief and misfortune around the house. It was traditional for people to keep their fireplace burning all night so the Calicancero could not get in the chimney. This thing looks like if King Kong was miniature and he's wielding an axe. Like, it's kind of brutal. I don't like it.
Yeah, when I saw the picture, it's like, I swear to God, I fought this in Shadow of the Colossus.
Like, this looks like it belongs in WoW. Oh, here we go. Here we go. The classic Christmas tradition of Père Fouettard, the French Christmas cannibal.
Well, then, of course.
Also known as the Whipping Father. Daddy Christmas cannibal. Once upon a time, a scary Frenchman named Pierre Fouettard, I'm not pronouncing that correctly, kidnapped, butchered, and prepared to eat 3 lost children. According to the story, Saint Nick, Santa himself, shows up on the man's doorstep and is not pleased. He doesn't save the kids. Oh, no. Well,
the kids are already dead.
I lied. Santa brings the kids back to life and makes the cannibal, also known as Black Peter, his indentured servant. Basically, his job is to threaten children into being nice. This would have been cooler.
Santa enslaving somebody by name of Black Peter?
I would have liked the story if Saint Nick just showed. It was like, dude, what are you doing?
What the fuck, man?
But he can't save the kids. It's like, no, they're dead. I can't do anything. But what are you doing?
Stop it.
Oh, dude, the Yule Cats.
Yeah.
It's a tiger in the picture. The Yule Cat, or the Iceland, I'm not saying that word, is another monster that makes yearly visits to kids' doorsteps on Christmas. The giant cat monster will eat any child who has not received clothes as a gift. For a child only gets rewarded with clothes if they do all their chores.
Well, that, but also if the kids don't wear their clothes that they received.
Oh, okay. So Loudwire just did kind of missed the mark on this one. I was about to say, like, if you don't get clothes, I don't think that's up to you.
Yeah. So, God, the Christmas Story, that kid,
I hate that
by
movie
wearing that
so
bunny
much.
suit. Yeah, it's not a great movie. I used to watch it every year, and then after a while, you're like, this isn't as tasteful as I remember it being. And also,
there are people that just love that movie. I'm like, no, this movie's garbage. Like,
yeah,
what's wrong with you?
When he has to wear the footy pajamas, he was able to avoid the Yule Cat devouring.
Is that a plot point?
Just because, no.
I was about to say.
I mean, but the footy pajamas was, but not
I know the
Yule
footy
Cat eating him.
Can you imagine being somebody that like was brought up on the Yule Cat and somebody like the person forgot to give you clothes? And it's like you're counting down until like 12:01 of December 26th. It's like, oh man, the Yule Cat. I didn't get any clothes. Mom, I need clothes. I need clothes. And then he dies just from fear. Not by the Yule Cat. The Yule Cat doesn't care if you wear your socks. But
to be fair, out of all these creatures, the Yule Cat's the most realistic because let's be honest.
Yeah, it's just a tiger that pops out of nowhere. It's like a panther walks out of the forest and it's like, I'm going to eat this kid. But it just so happens that it kept happening when somebody didn't receive clothes
or didn't wear them.
I think nope, it's not the last one. This is the Marie Luid. I'm sure I'm pronouncing this correctly. This is Welsh.
100%.
Welsh people aren't surprised when a skeleton horse adorned with lights and streamers appears at their door. I think that's
nice.
Bull. I think they're very surprised when a skeleton horse adorned with lights and streamers pops up at the door. She represents the Mari Luid, a folklore character that goes waysailing every year during Christmas time. Hey, it's the second version of waysailing. If not received warmly, the Marie Louise will bring a year of misfortune. I'm going to pronounce it different every time. It will bring a year of misfortune. The Welsh enact this scene when they go caroling, carrying a decorated horse skull. Honey, the kids from down the street are carrying the horse skeleton with the lights on it again this year. I don't like this picture. This is something that you would see like on Facebook at 3 a.m. with one of those, if you don't share, I'm going to be under your bed tonight type posts. I'm glad those don't exist anymore, by the way.
I'm going to send you my favorite picture of a Yule Cat, by the way.
The favorite picture of a Yule Cat?
Yes.
I'd like to see the Yule Cat. Yule Cat, hoo-ha-ha. Yeah, this big cat. This big old Yule Cat. I mean, which cat? There's a lot of them.
Is it the fat one?
Is it the big one with the frowny face
and the candle on its head?
Yeah.
Yes,
I like him. He's cute.
Very derpy, very murdery.
I mean, this one's weird, and it looks like it's just an advertisement, Loudwire. So I don't appreciate what you're doing right now. I don't appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. A cool article, I guess. Kind of boring. There's better ways to do folklore.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'm going to keep this because it wasn't.
This was a cop out.
It wasn't nearly as entertaining as I thought. The final thing is literally just an advertisement for an event, by the way, guys. So there you go. You did it, Loudwire.
Loudwire did it again.
Anyway, like I don't have much else to talk about. Like. They should. That we could like help them actually. Hey guys, what do you think about this? Dude, you're ending the metal Christmas list with an advertisement. At least start with the advertisement so people know that it's basically just a sellout list.
Just a sellout list.
Anyway, I don't have a lot really to talk about in terms of what I've done in the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I need to build a computer.
I mean, I guess I did. Gage came over the other day and we tracked guitar for one of the songs, and that went kind of smoothly, so that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, why not talk about that? Talk about it.
Oh, talk about it?
Talk about it.
I mean, I don't know if there's much. So I think I've mentioned in an episode that I won like 3 months of Nail the Mix Enhanced or something like that. And I did that by submitting a mix to one of the songs we have, and I won. And I don't know if that's good because it could have been like they were looking for a bad mix or a good mix. I don't know which, and I didn't feel like asking. So the song was basically just outdated because all of the songs we need to retrack guitar because he accidentally recorded them half a step out of tune. He recorded all of the demos in tune, but it was like not a normal tune. It was an A tuning for a 7-string guitar, but it was like down half a pitch. So like I had to manually pitch the guitars back up by like half a note in post, so we needed to redo them anyway. So we retracked one of the guitars, and now I have something a little bit more updated. My brother-in-law is working on writing drums that we will then program because we just don't really have the ability to record live drums right now. Not that I wouldn't love to. I would love to. I just don't have a drum mic kit, and those are expensive, and I'm broke.
Those are very expensive.
So, although the Music Go Round in downtown, or the Music Go Round in Castleton has a 7-piece drum mic kit from the company CAD, which I know CAD. They actually make good mics, and it's only $120. I'm like, I need it, but I'm broke. Also, when Gage and I went to Music Go Round, I warned Gage, never go to a guitar store with me when I know you have money, because I will convince you to buy something. So I failed that quest. I didn't get him to buy anything, but when we were on our way from Music Go Round to Sam Ash, I think, he was like,
I don't think I've ever heard of Music Go Round.
It's a small store. Think of like Disc Replay, but for music stuff. Except they're also they're the only certified dealer for Mesa, so they have like brand new Mesa gear, but everything else is kind of just used. But when we were going to one of the other stores, he was like, I know you told me not to never go to a store with you when you know, like, I almost bought a guitar 15 minutes into our adventure today because of you. I was like, like, you should have bought the guitar, because he has he's tracking everything with an Ibanez RG8, I believe. It's an 8-string, obviously, but he doesn't really use the 8th string. He isn't even quite sure why he has it, because he doesn't really like it all that much from my memory. So he's trying to find a nice 7 to go down to because he's comfortable with it. But in Music Go Round, have you ever heard of the company Halo Guitars?
Oh,
okay. So they're kind of like Kiesel and guys like that. They build custom guitars for people. Their instrument designer is a meme. Example, I will send you a guitar that I created on their.
Oh, no. You should make him get the PRS 7 strings.
He wants the Music Man Sterling, the Sterling
Gross.
7s. He actually really likes them.
No, there's nothing wrong with Music Man.
Well, he doesn't want the like the mega expensive ones, but like this thing's a monster. This thing's a beaut, ain't it?
This has Jared Dines written all over it.
Here's the thing: if I had $4,500 to just blow, I would purchase this guitar.
You're a gross human being.
I am.
For those of you that don't know, you sent me, what is that, a 12-string?
10.
A 10-string monstrosity that is thick.
So, do you want to give you the rundown of what this thing is?
I really don't, but you're going to anyways.
I will. I also updated it so it's semi-hollow. So it's a 10-string semi-hollow Telecaster body that is both fretless and scalloped.
What the fuck does scalloped mean?
Oh, you've never heard of scalloped frets? They file into the fretboard a little bit, so it's like round, and it's supposed to help you play a little. I think it's a gimmick. It's one of the few things that I consider a gimmick. I think it's used more in classical. I don't know. Look it up. It's interesting. I've never seen anyone really use it. So it has a Floyd.
Of course.
And the headstock.
Wait, why would you need a Floyd for a 10-string fret?
Dive bombs, bro.
You could
dive bombs. I could see Steve Vai playing this thing.
Yeah.
He would love it,
too.
actually.
No,
he probably would. Like, if he saw this, it's like, oh, screw it. I'll play it.
I got $4,500 that just dropped.
I think the worst thing about this guitar is the headstock.
Yeah, it's an ugly ass headstock.
It's like the headstock used for a.
It looks like a mandolin headstock. Like, honestly, I thought this was a Mando guitar.
It's gross. I love it. But
mandolin's the original 8-string.
Yeah, so that's what I made on Halo. Anyway, there was a Halo 7-string there, and it was very beautiful. He said he almost bought it. But the thing is, Music Around isn't letting you like actually play the guitars unless if you're basically, well, unless by that I mean you have to wear gloves and a mask constantly while you're in there.
Okay.
But the problem is when you're wearing gloves, you can't really get a good feel on if you like the guitar or not.
Yeah.
So we asked them, it's like, is there any way we could, we're pretty interested. Can we play it? And it's like, you got to be at like a 9 out of 10. Like you're pretty sure you're going to buy it before we want you to do it. Cause they'll have to like sanitize it down and everything. So, my original plan was, why don't we just go in, see if you can trade your 8-string, and see if it would come close. I think it was only for $500 or $600, which is not bad. The guitar was very beautiful. It was a fan fret 7-string. It looked just very interesting. It was a very interesting guitar, but we didn't end up going for it. We hung out, but then Sam Ash had a really rare amp in there, and it was a full set. It was the head and the official cabinet, and it was in gorgeous condition. It was the Crate Blue Voodoo, which, if people don't know, Crate amps are usually on the cheaper side of things. They're solid state amplifiers. They're not bad if it's all you can do. But the Blue Voodoos are highly regarded. They are they're tube amps, and for me, the only band that I know specifically that have used Crate Voodoos were Cannibal Corpse used them for a while, which was very surprising. And we hooked up into it, and it sounded beautiful. And it was only like $600 or $700. I'm like, it's like, I want it. I want the Blue Voodoo. But like the people there, the Sam Ash people messed up because this thing could have blown up. So if you don't know, tube amps need to be connected to a cabinet, because if you don't and you turn them on, it's expecting to see a cabinet load there for the resistance to hit, or the voltage and resistance, ohms and things like that. And if you don't have that, your tube amp can blow up. By blow up, it's usually it just like catches on fire, smokes a lot, but it can literally blow up too. So we were going to play this, and we hook it in, we turn it on. First of all, the last guy that messed with it had everything cranked to 10 on every knob.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. So we noticed that before we turned it on. But we turned it on, and we're like, we're not getting any sound. What's going on? We look behind it, and it looks like it's hooked in. There's a cable running from one of the outputs into one of the inputs of the cab. But it turns out it's not a real cable. It's a lock cable, so that it locks the head to the cabinet. It's for security reasons. So it took us like 10 minutes. We were looking at this thing, and I noticed it's not hooked into the cabinet output. It's hooked into like the line output of this cabinet. I'm like, Gage, you need to turn this amp off right now. And we're lucky the thing still worked. It didn't blow up. It didn't look to have like any negative things associated to it, but typically that is very dangerous. You never want to like have a tube amp on without it being connected to a cabinet. So I was like, I really hope this thing didn't break because I'm not paying for this because it wasn't set up correctly.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have been your fault as long as, you were like, check security camera. I didn't mess with the back.
Yeah, we checked, and it's not our fault that you guys chose a locking mechanism that looks like a cable. I mean, granted, it's a weird looking cable, but we finally figured it out. Anyway, the blue voodoo is very, very cool. It's nice in there. We ended up not getting anything, so we're working on music. I've been helping a friend of mine named Isaiah. He's in a local band called Indomitable. We played one of their songs a few episodes ago because they dropped an album around Halloween. He's tracking vocals for a project over in Pennsylvania, so I've been helping him with that. So we're kind of knocking out one episode, one song every Wednesday. I'm potentially going to work on a blackened death metal project with a guy up in Pennsylvania as well. We played with him back when I was still in Fleshbore. Sorry, it's a guy named Andy. But I am having a heck of a time trying to write lyrics, dude. Lyrics either like I come up with a good idea or I bash my head against a wall for days trying to get something down. Unfortunately, right now it's kind of in that second wheelhouse, but also I haven't really had any rest in the past 2 weeks. So
you should probably do that.
Well, I've been sleeping decently, all things considered. I just haven't had any actual rest from it. So that's pretty much all I've been doing. I started my Red Dead 1 playthrough. I've decided I want to start streaming twice a week now. So Monday will be like my full play streams, and then Fridays will be more of a variety stream. I started playing RimWorld, and that's fun. I'm very bad at it. But people were very patient in the I had a number of viewers, surprisingly, and they were very, very nice and patient in the comments. They were like, you need to do this. How? And then they explain it. It was fun. Other than that, man, I'm trying to catch up on podcasts. I've decided I really need to start listening to more music like on my free time because I'm running out of things that I can immediately pick up. It's like, oh, Mitch might like this. So I actually I played some Monster Train last night and I listened to like 2 or 3 albums as I was playing. Don't know if any of them are ones I would want to give you. One of which was a Slam record. I mean, it's a band that I can't talk. I got to play with them, except it's really the only Slam band I really knew for a long time. I got to play with them, but then I got bummed out because we had to leave before their set. I was like,
oh yeah, I remember you saying that.
Yeah, so that's pretty much where I'm at, man. I don't have too much to say other than like what we're gonna talk about next episode and things of that nature.
For me, like I said, built a computer, maybe play some more games, try to get my life a bit more together, start preparing for the GRE, email some professors, and try to build those relationships back up. I'm looking for a new L-shaped desk. Because I like L-shaped desks, but I am dumb and bought a glass one. And glass desks suck.
Glass desks aren't that great.
They're cheap though, and that's why I bought it.
It's better than nothing, but like...
And this desk is fine, but like now I'm like, I want to do C-clamp mounts for my monitors. Mm-hmm. And you can't do that on a glass desk unless you want the glass to break. So I'm looking at some like L-shaped wood desks, but the problem is a lot of them that are like in the $100-$200 range have that stupid metal bar in the back to like give it support, like it needs, but that prevents the C-clamp from being a thing. So I'm just having a heck of a time trying to find an L-shaped desk that I like, that I can C-clamp, and then, buying all the VESA mounts and everything. And my new setup, I'm basically thinking like 2 1440p monitors for my gaming desktop. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just stick to a single one for now. I'm keeping my laptop, and so I was going to get a VESA laptop mount, which basically just allows you to put the monitor and the mount right next to each other. So yeah, not too much, just, trying to make it through life while hating my job and everything. Woo.
I feel that. Well, let's go ahead and wrap this up, man.
Well, hold on. You still need to listen to that Howard Jones very quick.
I thought I was doing that after we were done recording.
No, you were doing the other song.
Which one?
That's the Ulcer song.
The what?
Sorry, Ulcerate song that I discovered. I don't know. If you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it. I'm not going to make you.
I mean, I don't know what we're referring to.
I recently found a new band called Ulcerate that I was like swooned over, and I was like, Ethan will swoon over this too.
What was the song?
It's called Dissolved Orders. But again, if you don't want to do that one now, you can at least do.
That's fine. I already got it pulled up. Let's go.
Okay, I don't.
No, it's 8 minutes long. Jesus Christ.
Okay, so
I will listen to it. I will listen to it, and I will report back.
That's fine. You didn't even let me finish. You just freaked out of nowhere. I was only expecting you to listen to like the first 2 minutes. But fine, you could do it later. You should listen to the Howard
just a little
Jones.
Tired. Okay, I can do that because that's only like a minute.
It's a minute 50.
Do I know this song?
It's a classic Skinner.
This version would have crushed in RDR2. I guess this song was in RDR2.
I don't know about that.
I do not think the sung version he's doing is the same take for the video, because it looks like he's screaming in the video, but it's good.
Yeah. So I was really happy with that when I saw that. Very well done, but that's to be expected. So yeah, all right. That's that.
I mean, hold on, I'm finishing it up. Yeah, that was good. That was good. I like it. I'll have to listen to the actual. I guess the song was used in Red Dead 2. I don't know.
I don't know. I've never played Red Dead.
I don't remember it. RDR2 was super good.
Yeah, it was. Just from watching other people play it.
It's very fun. Except Red Dead Online. Red Dead Online apparently sucks major doo-doo.
I've heard it got better.
I heard this most recent update made it worse.
Oh, rough.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think I'm about ready to wrap it up. If you are, what do we? I forget who's supposed to do stuff. What do you got for me?
So I figured I'll stick with the violin metal theme and give you one of my favorite progressive death metal bands. That's right, folks. We're going back to progressive death metal.
Alrighty.
Ne Obliviscaris.
Okay, I have never listened to a full album, but McGinley listened to this band a lot. So
yes,
I recognize
album
the name.
I want you to listen to is called Citadel.
Okay, their 2014 outfit.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Yeah, cool. I will take a look at that then. 48 minutes, 6 songs. Okay, cool. Yeah, I recognize the name. I can't remember if I like because it was always in car rides, and usually at that point in the friendship and stuff like that, we were mainly just talking in the car, so I don't really think I was ever paying attention to what was playing. I was just like, that's a weird name for a band, and I was like, whatever, cool. So yeah, I'll check that out.
The name for the band is actually Gaelic. Okay. Even though they're an Australian band. You do know what Gaelic is, right?
Roughly. Is that Scottish?
Irish.
Gotcha.
So I can't remember what it stands for, but it was a saying of one of the Irish clans, apparently.
Okay. All right. So Ne Obliviscaris, Wingardium Leviosa. All right. Cool. Yeah, I'll check them out. So for you, when I was actually remembering plans we had made and album titles, I told you on Messenger already, but I figure why not? I had a plan. I was going to give you an album today that was going to be related to the following pick, but then I remembered next episode is 9, and we kind of had a big-ish thing planned for episode 10. So I didn't really want to do that. So I had to I had to find a backup. I went to my...
You could always do that for your episode 10 and just give me both those albums since I'm giving you a triple.
I already have an idea for my 2 albums on episode 10. Yeah, I've had that planned since I brought up the idea.
I thought I brought up the idea, but okay.
I'm pretty sure I did, but like you shortly thought of, because I was like, I kind of want to give you 2 records, but it's like over 2 hours to do these 2 records. And then you're like, well, I think I know the band, but I won't spoil it yet. It has a triple album or something. I was like, ugh, all right. So yeah, no. So I had to fall back. I went over to my bookshelf, and I have like 6 CDs over there because I took them out of my car. I was like, is there anything over here I haven't given them? And there was like, a Sugar record, obviously no. Cattle, no. And then I remembered. Now, oh no, I just realized I should probably have a backup in case you did listen to this. We'll figure it out. So there's this band. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. They're There's this genre. There's this genre of music, Mitch. There's a band that's widely considered. There's like 4 of them that are like really, really popular in this one genre. It's like it's what you might call like a big 4, like a big 4.
I don't like thrash.
How do you feel about? Have you ever really delved into Anthrax?
Oh man.
I
never listened to a full album. I never listened to a full album. I saw them live with Lamb of God, and I was not impressed.
Okay. Do you remember the time frame of that?
The Lamb of God? What was that? I think I was in college, so I think that was my senior year, so 2017.
Well, all right. That may not put a good idea onto this. Because I was looking into. So, have you listened to any of For All Kings?
No, I mean, again, I've never listened to a full album. I've never even really listened to Anthrax outside of that live show.
Okay.
So,
For All Kings is their most recent record, to my knowledge. It was kind of released in that time span where all of the big 4 kind of released a record. So you had Metallica's Hardwired to Self-Destruct, Megadeth's Dystopia, Slayer's Repentless, and this record. And surprisingly, I think this one was the strongest out of the 4. And that's big praise for me because I'm a Metallica fanboy, and I've never really listened to Anthrax. I've always heard like they were kind of the black sheep of the big 4, and people were like, Anthrax, whatever. But then when this record dropped, I was hearing good things. People were actually giving it really good scores. A couple of the metal reviewer guys I listened to were like, yeah, this is easily the best out of the big 4's new albums. Depending who you are, that may not be that much of an accomplishment, but I listened to it when it dropped, and I bought it physically before I even listened to it. I was like, well, it's cheap where I'm at. I'll pick it up. And I think it's a pretty solid record. It's thrash, but it also has a lot of melody to it. I love the vocal hooks and some of the passages. So I'm going to be giving you Anthrax's For All Kings.
Oh boy. I'm so excited.
There is a deluxe version, which is what I was listening to yesterday up until I realized it was a deluxe version, and then I switched back over. The deluxe songs are worth checking out. One is a cover of Carry On My Wayward Son, and it's actually pretty good. So, but otherwise, the original stops at 11 songs, I believe. So
I do like Wayward Son a lot. So
it's a good track. Maybe check out that one. I actually liked it a lot as a cover. I'm very iffy about that song, but it's good. I don't mind Anthrax. I know they have apparently had a number of different lineups, and the singer has always been like one that has changed a few times, and people are iffy about whoever it is. But I like the person on this record. I can't tell you who it is, though. Not off the top.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, that was kind of it wasn't what I was going to give you. I was going to give you something still more in line with like death metal, maybe like a little, I'm not even going to tell you because like I have an interesting way. I have an interesting way of describing the band.
Fine, keep your secrets.
Okay, I mean, so
No.
Are you sure? Do you want a teaser? It's gonna be like episode 11 is gonna be when it hits.
Yeah, that's a month away.
It is a month away, so you'll probably forget. But I describe it as if an atmospheric deathcore band and Bell Witch had a baby.
I don't like that first part.
Atmospheric deathcore?
No, I don't like that first part. If you got rid of the core
I think
death metal.
No.
Well.
But it's the reason why I think it's interesting is because the next band is death metal, and it's like all the same people.
Gotcha.
So it was like a twofer, but you'll forget that by the time we get to episode 11. So anyway, so yes, next episode, it seems we are going for kind of an interesting pick on my end of a Big Four album, Anthrax's For All Kings. Never thought I would probably be recommending one of them, at least until episode 10. And Ne Obliviscaris.
No. I don't like episode 10 all of a sudden.
I'm joking. And then Citadel by Ne Obliviscaris. Ne Ponderosa.
Napalm Death.
Hey, I actually listened to some of their new record. It's not half bad.
Well,
I mean, it does have that one. It's weird because I wanted to listen to it. I'm like, where does that one song fit in on here? Because it's on here. And I don't know what else, because I don't know. I still haven't sat down through all of it. The last time I started listening to it when I was still able to drive. So I'm actually going to continue closing on 2 songs today for our shout out. But both of them are original. One of which is actually related to last week's episode. Mitch, do you remember when we were talking about Slipknot's Mate, Feed, Kill, Repeat? When I briefly brought up that there was I believe it was a Japanese melodic death metal band had written a song of the same title, Mate, Feed, Kill, Repeat. Well, after I was editing that episode, I looked it up just out of curiosity. I listened to it, and I thought it was pretty interesting. So I actually messaged the dudes, and I was like, "Hey, do you mind if we play this at the end of our episode?" And they said, "Yeah, go for it." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So we're gonna be playing a song by the band Jump Scare, called Mate, Feed, Kill, Repeat. Lyrically, it is also similar to that album. I just thought it was very interesting, and it's kind of cool to see a lesser known melodic death metal band. I think you listened to it too, didn't you? You thought it was pretty decent.
Yeah, I think I listened to a bit of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. And then as for the second, I've been talking to a gentleman by the name of Joseph Lawless for a little while. He's in a band called Scarlet Serenity, and they just dropped a new song a little while ago, but then they dropped the music video for it recently. It was for a song called Exordium. Let me pull up Scarlet Serenity just so I can give an idea of their genre. So yeah, it's a metal band out of Edmonton. AAB. What's AB? Mitch, you've been helping me with this. I need help.
I want to say AB is Alabama.
Oh, it's Alberta. No, it's Edmonton, Alberta, Canada.
Oh, well, I don't know Canadians.
Well, I'm not from Canada. So yeah, we're going to be playing Exordium by Scarlet Serenity, as well as Jump Scares, Mate, Feed, Kill, Repeat. It's been a long episode today, guys. Really sorry if I've sounded super tired. It's because I am.
He was mildly irritable too.
Was I? I didn't mean to be irritable.
Too late.
I'm sorry. Was I? When was I irritable? When was I irritable? I'm sorry.
8-minute song.
Oh, right. Okay. I mean, I was mainly doing that as a bit, but like...
Yeah, I didn't actually care. I did not care.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in to Distorted Entertainment. My name is Eden Carpenter. I'm joined, of course, by Mitchell Wade. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/distentpod. That's facebook.com/distentpod. If you like what you hear here, please share it around. Rate us on Apple Music. That helps us quite a bit. You can find me at Instagram on MFKRWill. I also go live on Twitch at twitch.com/WASD_Gamecom. And Mitch usually doesn't plug anything. Eventually, we need to start putting your metal Word doc research thing at the end of these, like we've talked about.
If I ever fucking update that. I got a lot of things to do.
You do have a lot of things to do. Anyway, guys, thank you much. Thank you so much for listening. We will see you guys in a couple of weeks. See ya.
Goodbye.